Ready to fall asleep while something quietly watches the night with you? Let the rain slow your breathing, and let this story unfold gently in the dark. Before you settle in, tell me, what time is it where you're listening right now? If these stories help you rest, tap like, and subscribe to stay wrapped in the rain each night. You lie still as rain settles into the night, tapping the roof in a patient rhythm that feels older than the house itself. The sound arrives softly, each drop careful, as though the storm is trying not to wake you. You listen with half-closed eyes, breathing slowly, letting the steady pattern smooth the edges of your thoughts. The darkness around you feels full, not empty, and the rain seems to fill it gently. Outside, the world dissolves into water and shadow. Street lights blur, trees bend, and distant shapes lose their meaning beneath the falling rain. Inside, the air feels cooler, faintly damp, carrying the quiet scent of earth and wet stone. You pull the blanket higher, not from fear, but from instinct, as if your body remembers nights like this from long ago. The rain continues, unhurried. It does not rush. It does not stop. It simply exists, falling in a way that feels intentional, almost thoughtful. You begin to notice slight variations in the sound. A heavier drop lands near the window. A lighter one skims the roof. The rhythm shifts subtly, like breath changing during sleep. As you listen, you feel the sense of being observed, not sharply, not urgently, but gently, as if something nearby is aware of you without needing your attention. The feeling does not alarm you. It settles beside you like a quiet companion. You tell yourself it is nothing more than the intimacy of night and rain, the way silence makes awareness expand. Another drop strikes the glass, then another. You notice how each one arrives with a faint pause beforehand, as though waiting for permission. The thought drifts through your mind, slowly, unchallenged. You are too relaxed to question it. The rain feels closer now, more present, less like weather and more like a visitor lingering just outside. Your name enters your thoughts without effort, the way memories sometimes do, without context, without reason. You are not thinking of yourself, yet the sound of your name feels near. You listen carefully, holding your breath for a moment, then releasing it. The rain continues, steady and calm. A drop lands, followed by another, and in the space between them, you sense something almost like speech. Not words exactly, but intention. The storm feels attentive, as if it has noticed you noticing it. You shift slightly beneath the blanket, the fabric whispering in response. The room remains still. You focus on the sound again, letting it wash over you. The rain is slow, stretching the moments between drops. Each one feels deliberate, placed carefully in time. Your breathing matches the rhythm without conscious effort, in and out. Drop and pause, drop and pause. You wonder when the rain began. The memory feels distant, blurred, as though the storm has always been here. You imagine it falling long before you arrive in this room, and continuing long after you fall asleep. The thought comforts you. Something is reassuring about a world that moves on without requiring anything from you. Another subtle change passes through the soundscape. The rain near the window grows slightly louder, closer. You sense movement outside, not footsteps, but attention shifting, like a gaze turning. You do not open your eyes. You listen instead, trusting your ears more than your sight. Your name returns, quieter this time. It does not startle you. It feels familiar, like hearing it spoken by someone who knows you well. The sound blends with the rain, inseparable from it. You try to tell where one ends and the other begins, but the distinction slips away. You remind yourself that rain can sound like many things. It can mimic whispers, footsteps, and voices carried by the wind. The explanation feels reasonable, and you accept it easily. Still, a small part of you remains curious, gently alert. Like a light left on in another room, the rain drifts across the roof and down the walls, tracing invisible paths. You imagine it listening through the glass, feeling the warmth inside, sensing your presence. The idea does not frighten you. It feels almost tender, like being noticed without being disturbed, that your body grows heavier, sinking into the mattress. The line between wakefulness and sleep begins to blur. Thoughts slow, stretching out, dissolving before they fully form. The rain becomes a single, continuous sound, no longer individual drops, but a soft curtain surrounding you. In this state, your name feels less like a word and more like a sensation, a gentle pressure in the air. You do not hear it clearly. You feel it. It arrives with the same softness as the rain itself and fades just as smoothly. You realize you are not alone in listening. The storm listens too, sharing the quiet with you. There is no urgency in it, no demand. It is content to exist alongside you, falling steadily, patiently, as the night deepens. Sleep approaches slowly, carried on the rhythm of water and breath. Your thoughts loosen their grip, drifting like leaves along a shallow stream. The rain remains constant and calm, as if keeping watch. As your awareness dims, you sense that the rain will remember this moment, that it will return on other nights, sounding the same, feeling just as close. And somewhere within its steady fall, it will still know your name, waiting quietly for the next time you listen. The house responds to the storm with soft sounds of its own. Wood settles. Pipes murmur faintly behind the walls. These small noises weave together with the rain, forming a lullaby made of age and weather. You feel sheltered within it, held in a pocket of warmth while the night stretches wide outside. You imagine the rain touching other windows, other rooftops, other sleepers drifting toward dreams. The thought connects you to unseen lives, all listening to the same sky. Somewhere beyond the darkness, the storm knows each place differently. It changes its voice slightly, adapting, remembering. Your eyelids flutter, heavy now. When you open them briefly, the room looks unchanged, yet subtly different, as if the rain has softened its edges. Shadows rest more deeply in corners. Light feels gentler, less defined. You close your eyes again, trusting the darkness. The sound of rain moves again, closer to the window, then away, as though circling. You sense patience in it, a calm persistence. It does not need you to respond. It only requires you to be here, listening, sharing the moment. Your breathing deepens. The line of your thoughts thins to a single awareness of sound and sensation. Blanket, mattress, air, rain. Everything, everything else fades into a comfortable distance. Just before sleep takes you entirely, a final pause appears in the rainfall, a space, small enough to miss if you are not paying attention. In that pause, you feel a quiet recognition pass between you and the night. Then the rain resumes, steady and familiar, carrying you gently onward toward whatever listens next. The storm settles into a deeper rhythm, slower now, as if satisfied. You feel a sense of closure without understanding why, like finishing a thought you did not realize you were having. The rain no longer presses close, but it does not leave. It simply stays present and calm. In this quiet, you sense that other sounds will come on future nights, other movements, other subtle shifts in the dark. For now there is only rest, wrapped in water and shadow. You allow yourself to drift, knowing the rain will continue its watch, and that listening is something you can always return to. Sleep draws closer, gentle and unforced. Your thoughts slow to a comfortable stillness. The rain fades into the background of your awareness, never gone, never loud, simply there. And as you sink fully into rest, a quiet certainty remains with you, like a promise carried on water. You do not question it. You do not need to. The night feels complete, sealed softly by the storm. Somewhere beyond sleep, something waits, patient and unseen, ready to reveal itself when the rain changes its mind. For now, you rest, wrapped in listening silence, unaware of what will stir when the next sound arrives. The rain breathes once more, softly, and the night leans closer. Something shifts beyond the walls, preparing to be heard. You remain still, waiting, calm, and unafraid. The rain listens as the storm settles into silence. You sense that other sounds are waiting beyond the dark, ready to step closer when the rain decides to move again. You become aware of the house gradually, the way you notice your own breathing when everything else grows quiet. Rain continues outside, soft and steady, but now there is another rhythm beneath it, a deeper sound, a slower one. It moves through the walls, the floors, the spaces between rooms. The house is not silent. It never is. It listens and it responds. You lie still, letting your senses adjust. The rain taps against the roof, but beneath that gentle percussion comes a subtle creak. Then another. Wood shifting, beams settling. The sounds are familiar, comforting, even, yet tonight they feel different, more deliberate, as if the house is stretching after a long sleep. You breathe in, and somewhere within the walls, something answers. Soft expansion. You breathe out, and the sound recedes. The timing is close enough to notice, distant enough to question. You tell yourself houses always make noise at night. They're cool. They contract. They adjust to the dark. The explanation settles easily, but not completely. The air in the room feels fuller now, thicker, like it carries weight. Shadows lean gently across the floor, elongated by the low light. They move slowly as the rain shifts outside, sliding across the walls like tired limbs searching for rest. You watch without turning your head, aware of them from the corner of your vision. Another creak passes through the house, deeper this time. It travels upward from beneath the floor to the ceiling above you, like a long, careful breath. You imagine the structure rising and falling, walls expanding by fractions, then easing back. The image feels strangely natural, like the house is alive in its own quiet way. You have lived among breathing things your whole life. The sound of lungs filling, the rise of a chest, the gentle pause before release. This feels similar, though. Slower, older, a rhythm shaped by time instead of urgency. The house has learned patience. Rain presses against the windows, and the glass responds with a soft vibration. The sound weaves together with the house's movements, blending until you can no longer tell where weather ends and structure begins. You feel enclosed, not trapped, but held, like the house has wrapped itself more tightly around you for the night. Your body relaxes further, sinking into the bed. The mattress exhales faintly beneath your weight. You become aware of how many layers exist between you and the outside world, roof, attic, walls, windows, all of them standing quietly between you and the storm, absorbing sound, holding warmth. A subtle shift passes through the room like a change. In pressure, the house seems to inhale again, deeper now. The walls make a sound that reminds you of wind passing through trees, though there is no breeze inside. You close your eyes briefly, listening, matching your breath to the pace around you. You wonder if the house knows you are awake. The thought arrives softly, without fear. Awareness does not always mean threat. Sometimes it simply means presence. The house has carried lives before yours, footsteps layered over footsteps, voices absorbed into wood and plaster. It remembers patterns. It recognizes stillness. You open your eyes again and the room appears unchanged, yet subtly different. Shadows have shifted closer to the bed. Not abruptly, but gradually, the way darkness always moves when you are not. Watching it directly, you feel no need to move. The air remains calm, unhurried. Another sound rises, faint but distinct, a settling noise from the hallway, followed by a quiet sigh somewhere deep within the structure. The house exhales. You feel it in the floor, and the way the bed seems to lower by the smallest amount. Your breathing slows in response. The rain outside grows steadier, more uniform. The house welcomes it, adjusting its rhythm to match. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. The timing repeats, consistent and soothing. You realize your thoughts are thinning, stretching out like mist, drifting more slowly with each breath. You imagine the house at night when no one is awake. How it must sound then. How? Freely it can move, adjust, breathe, without being noticed. This may be when it feels most like itself, when the world outside sleeps and only the rain keeps it company. A quiet awareness settles over you. You are a guest here, sheltered and observed. Not in a way that feels invasive, but in the way walls know where furniture rests, where footsteps fall most often. The house is familiar to you. It has learned your weight, your movements, and the sound of you resting. The ceiling above you emits a soft, almost imperceptible crackle as temperatures shift. The sound travels slowly, like a message passed along beams and joints. You follow it with your attention, letting it carry your thoughts away from yourself. Your body feels heavy now, comfortable. The line between you and the bed blurs. The house breathes again, and this time you do not question it. You accept the rhythm as part of the night, as natural as rain, as inevitable as sleep dot in the distance. A door settles into its frame with a muted sound. You do not imagine it opening or closing. It simply adjusts, finding a more comfortable position. The house is full of these small movements, These quiet corrections that keep it balanced. You sense the space beyond your room, the hallway stretching softly into darkness, the rooms beyond waiting patiently. They feel connected, like organs sharing a single, slow pulse. The house has a few rooms at night. It is one body. Breathing in the rain. Your thoughts grow simpler. Breath, sound, warmth. The shadows no longer feel separate from the walls. They belong there, resting where light cannot reach. You belong here too, tucked into the rhythm, carried gently toward rest. Another breath passes through the house, and you feel it resonate faintly in your chest. Not forceful, not demanding, just present. You match it again and again until the timing becomes effortless. Sleep approaches without announcement. You do not notice the exact moment it draws closer. The house continues its quiet breathing, steady and calm, as if it intends to keep watch while you drift. As your awareness fades, a final thought lingers, slow and untroubled. The house is awake when you sleep. It notices, it remembers, and somewhere within its walls something shifts, preparing to move a little closer in the quiet moments yet to come. As the house exhales into silence, you sense that the night has more to reveal, and that the next sound you hear may not come from the walls at all. Rain continues to fall outside, smoothing the edges of the night until the world feels distant and blurred. It presses gently against the roof, the windows, the earth itself, softening everything it touches. Inside the house, though, the quiet becomes sharper, more defined. Every sound feels closer now, as if the rain has peeled away layers of distance and left only what truly remains. You lie still, listening. The house breathes slowly around you, familiar and calm. Water taps in steady patterns above, while the walls hold their silence carefully. Your breathing settles into the rhythm of the storm, deep and unhurried. For a while, nothing changes, and the night feels complete. Then a sound separates itself from the rest. It is subtle at first, almost mistaken for the rain itself. A pressure rather than a noise, something touching the floor with intention. You pause your breath, allowing the moment to open fully. The sound returns, clearer now. A step, gentle, measured, as though whoever makes it is aware of how easily sound travels at night. You listen carefully, counting the space between movements. The pause is long enough to feel deliberate. The next step follows, placed with quiet precision. It does not creak the floorboards sharply. It settles into them like a weight that already knows where to land. Your body remains still beneath the blanket. The sound does not alarm you. It invites attention instead. You tell yourself the house always makes noise when it rains. That wood remembers old movements and replays them when the night grows quiet enough. The explanation feels reasonable, and you allow it to rest in your thoughts. Another step follows. This one feels closer. Not louder, just nearer, as though distance itself is shrinking. You sense the vibration through the floor, faint but present, traveling upward until it reaches you. Your breathing slows naturally, matching the careful pace of the movement. The rain continues without interruption, its steady fall providing a constant backdrop. Inside that sound, the footsteps exist clearly, unaffected, moving in their own calm rhythm. You imagine them traveling along the hallway, tracing familiar paths worn smooth by time and memory. You shift slightly, adjusting the blanket around. Your shoulders. The footsteps stop. The silence that follows is immediate and complete. It settles heavily like a held breath. You become aware of how loud your own breathing sounds now, how even the smallest movement feels magnified. You remain perfectly still, listening for any sign of continuation. Nothing moves. Rain persists. Outside, unchanged. The house holds its breath with you. The stillness feels intentional, as though the sound has chosen to wait. You count your breaths slowly, letting each one complete fully before beginning the next. In, out, in, out. When the footsteps return, they do so without warning. One step placed exactly where it would have been if nothing interrupted it. Then another. The calm continuation unsettles you gently, like a question asked without urgency. You feel a quiet understanding form. The footsteps are aware of you, not watching, not threatening, simply noticing. The thought does not bring fear. It feels strangely mutual, like recognition rather than intrusion. The steps continue down the hallway, unhurried, patient. You imagine? The house offering no resistance, opening itself to the movement the way it always has. Doors remain still. Walls listen. The night accepts everything quietly. Another step brings the sound closer to your room. You do not open your eyes. Darkness feels safer this way, less specific. You listen instead, trusting the rhythm of sound to guide your awareness. Your heart remains steady. Your body does not tense. Whatever moves does so carefully, mindful of the sleeping spaces it passes. The rain outside seems to soften even this moment, wrapping it in reassurance. You adjust your legs slightly, testing the quiet again. The footsteps stop instantly. The silence that follows feels heavier than before. It presses gently against your awareness, asking nothing, waiting for everything. You remain still, aware now of the connection between your movement and the sound beyond the door. You breathe slowly, deliberately. Nothing moves. The house remains steady. The rain continues to fall, patient and constant. When the footsteps resume, they do so farther away. The sound retreats, step by step, moving back down the hallway toward the deeper parts of the house. You feel relief without knowing you needed it, a soft loosening in your chest. The sound fades gradually, absorbed by walls and distance. You listen until it dissolves completely, leaving only the rain and the familiar breathing of the house behind. The silence that follows feels different now, not empty, but aware. You sink deeper into the bed, your body heavy and warm. The memory of the footsteps lingers softly at the edge of your thoughts, already losing detail, like a dream you are not meant to hold on to. The rain smooths everything again, restoring the night's gentle balance. The house exhales, returning to its steady rhythm. You feel safe within it, wrapped in sound and shadow. Just as sleep begins to claim you, a final sensation passes through your awareness. Not a step, but the suggestion of one. A faint pressure against the floor, so subtle, it barely exists. You do not react. You let it pass without question. You realize then that the footsteps were never meant to disturb you. They exist to remind you that the night is shared, that stillness does not mean emptiness. The thought comforts you, easing the last traces of tension from your body. Your breathing deepens naturally. The rain continues its gentle fall, guiding you closer to rest. The house remains awake, listening, aware, and as sleep finally draws near, you sense that not everything reveals itself through movement. Some things choose stillness instead, waiting quietly to be noticed when the rain softens the world even. Further dot as the night settles into silence, you sense that the next presence will not walk or breathe at all, but will simply wait, glowing softly beyond the glass, where the rain touches the window. You lie facing the window while rain stitches silver lines across the glass, slow and careful. Each drop slides downward like a melting star, leaving brief trails of light before disappearing. The room behind you remains dim and calm, wrapped in the breathing quiet of the house. Outside feels farther away than usual, softened by water and distance. You breathe evenly, watching the faint reflections shift. The night feels settled, almost kind, until you notice that one place beyond the window does not darken, no matter how long you look at it quietly without blinking or explanation at all. You expect the glow to fade as clouds shift, but it remains steady, pale, and watchful. It does not brighten or dim, only exists, hovering beyond the rain. You blink slowly, letting your eyes rest, then open them again. The light stays. It does not press against the glass or cast shadows inside. It simply waits. The rain continues, its gentle rhythm tapping reassurance into the night. You feel no fear, only curiosity, like noticing someone standing quietly in a room you thought was empty. Breath slows, and thoughts drift without urgency now as sleep approaches softly from afar. The window feels different now, less like a barrier and more like a shared surface. Rain blurs the boundary, turning glass into something almost liquid. You imagine the light touching the other side, sensing warmth within. The idea settles gently, not alarming, simply present. The house remains still behind you, its breathing slow and patient. Outside, the glow holds its place, as if anchored. You sense a tension in it, not focused sharply, but wide and calm, like the night itself paying quiet notice. Rain hums softly, stretching moments longer while you remain awake and unafraid in listening silence here tonight. You turn slightly, testing whether movement will change what you see. The light does not react. It neither advances nor retreats. It simply remains, patient beyond the rain. You feel the air cool near the window, as if night leans closer there. The glow reflects faintly on the glass, never crossing fully inside. It feels respectful, almost careful. You find yourself breathing with the rain again, slow and steady, letting the moment pass without needing answers. Shadows rest quietly behind you, unmoving and calm. The house listens without comment tonight. Silence feels full, not empty. Here, at this moment still, time loosens its grip as you watch the unmoving light. Seconds feel wide, unmeasured. The rain's rhythm smooths everything, washing urgency away. You wonder how long the glow has been there, and whether it appears only when noticed. The thought drifts without weight. The night outside seems aware, yet unconcerned. It does not rush to reveal anything. Instead, it offers stillness, inviting you to rest within uncertainty. You accept the invitation easily, sinking deeper into the quiet between thoughts. Breathing slows further, calm spreading gently everywhere. The glow remains unchanged, steady and distant beyond rain and night. Watching without demand, you consider looking away, but something keeps your attention resting there. The light does not pull you toward it. It allows you to choose. That gentleness feels important. Rain thickens on the glass, distorting the glow into softer shapes, but never erasing it. You sense that the night prefers suggestion over clarity. The house behind you settles again, wood murmuring faintly. Its presence feels supportive, as though reminding you that you are not alone while you watch. The moment stretches, calm and deliberate. Rain and light hold steady positions. Nothing presses, nothing demands attention now. You remain present and safe. The glow feels less like an object and more like a thought made visible. It rests beyond. The window, quiet and unchanging. You think it, noticing your stillness the way you notice rain without naming each drop. There is comfort in this shared awareness. The night does not rush you. It allows sleep to approach slowly without pressure. You let your eyelids grow heavy, then lift them again, checking gently. The light remains, patient as ever. Rain continues drawing lines across the glass. Each one catches light briefly, then slides away into darkness again. You exhale, calm and steady now. You realize the glow does not want entry. It stays where it belongs, outside, respectful of boundaries. This understanding settles softly inside you. The window feels like a conversation held at a distance, safe and quiet. Rain acts as a mediator, softening edges, carrying sound. You feel sheltered, held between house and night. The glow remains constant, never brighter, never dimmer. It waits without impatience, as though time means something different beyond the glass. You sink deeper into the bed, supported. Rain fills the pauses between thoughts gently. The night feels wide and accepting. You remain awake without strain for now here. The glow's patience invites reflection rather than action. You do not feel compelled to investigate or retreat. Instead, you rest in the knowing that some things exist to be observed. Rain continues its endless descent, blurring the world into gentle abstraction. The house behind you breathes slowly, sharing warmth. You feel suspended between inside and outside, awareness and sleep. The light remains a constant point, steady enough to anchor drifting thoughts. You breathe deeply, counting nothing at all. Rain and glow maintain quiet harmony. No urgency enters the room tonight. You feel held and calm within this moment softly. You notice how the glow never reflects your face. It offers no mirror, no recognition of form. This feels intentional, as though the night prefers suggestion over certainty. Rain thickens again, briefly obscuring the light, then clearing. Each time the glow returns unchanged. You trust this pattern now. It feels dependable. Your thoughts slow further, edges dissolving. The window becomes a quiet threshold. Nothing crossing, everything acknowledged. Breathing matches rain, slow and rhythmic. The house remains steady, offering warmth. You feel safe to rest awareness here. The glow does not intrude or fade. It waits calmly, unchanged beyond rain tonight. Sleep edges closer, gentle and unforced. You feel it approaching like fog, softening thought without erasing awareness. The glow continues to exist beyond the glass, steady and pale. It no longer feels separate from the night. It belongs to it. Rain carries on. each drop falling with patient certainty. You rest in the moment, knowing nothing is required of you. Watching becomes effortless, almost dreamlike. The window holds its quiet vigil. You sense the night observing gently. No fear rises, only calm curiosity. The glow remains constant and kind. Rain continues stitching darkness together. You relax further now easily. You sense that the glow does not demand being understood. It asks only to be noticed, briefly, gently. This feels like a lesson the night offers without words. Rain softens everything again, blurring the glass until light and darkness blend. You let your eyes close for a moment, then open them slowly. The glow remains unchanged. Comfort settles deeper, heavy, and warm, guiding you closer to rest. Breathing slows further, smooth and steady. The house listens, holding the night gently. You feel secure within layered sounds. Nothing breaks the quiet now. Rain continues without interruption outside. The glow stays patient. The moment stretches longer, unmeasured, and kind. You feel yourself drifting, not away, but inward. The glow remains at the edge of awareness, like a bookmark held in place. Rain keeps falling, steady and reassuring. You no longer need to watch actively. Knowing it is there feels enough. The window, the light, the night, all settle into harmony. Your thoughts soften, thinning toward sleep. Breath aligns with rain effortlessly. The house remains quiet, supportive, and present. You feel held between darkness and rest. The glow does not change or fade. It simply remains beyond the glass, waiting without urgency to night for you. You allow your eyes to close fully now, trusting the night to continue without you watching. The glow remains beyond the window, steady and unseen, content to wait. Rain carries on, soft and endless. The house breathes, warm and protective. As sleep settles, you sense that the night holds other quiet wonders too, not moving, not glowing, simply waiting to be noticed when the light finally disappears and the glass reflects something different entirely. This thought drifts softly, guiding you onward without hurry or fear toward the next quiet mystery waiting nearby, beyond darkness and reflection inside the night ahead dot. As the glow fades from your awareness, you sense that the next presence will not shine at all, but will reveal itself through stillness when the darkness finally settles completely. The rain has changed its sound dot. It no longer falls straight down. The wind moves through it now, gently, patiently, bending each drop into a softer shape. Outside, water slides sideways across the world, brushing windows and walls with careful persistence. Inside, you notice how the sound deepens, how it gathers texture, how it begins to feel almost intentional. You lie still beneath the blanket, listening as the rain wind wraps around the house. The walls receive it quietly, wood and glass absorbing each passing breath. The room feels sealed in warmth, safe and enclosed, while the night moves freely just beyond reach. Your breathing slows without effort, guided by the rhythm of water and air working together. At first, the sound feels like nothing more than weather. Wind passing, rain shifting, then something subtle changes. The rain seems to linger longer near the window, brushing it again and again, as though tracing shapes that never quite form. The wind presses closer, and within the sound, something begins to separate itself. It is not a word. Not yet. It is a suggestion of one. You do not strain to hear it. You allow it to arrive on its own. The whisper forms slowly, carried on the stretched syllables of wind moving through rain. It feels soft, almost careful, as though it does not wish to disturb you. You listen without moving, letting the sound drift through your awareness. Another whisper follows. Then another. Each one arrives wrapped in water and air, never sharp, never sudden. They slide past one another like overlapping thoughts just before sleep. You feel them more than you hear them, impressions rather than sounds, meaning without language. You sense that the whispers are not meant to be understood. All at once, they ask for patience. When you try to focus on them, they slip away, dissolving back into rain. When you relax, when you stop trying to listen, they return, clearer, closer. Each whisper feels personal. Not loud enough for anyone else. Only for you. You pull the blanket slightly closer around your shoulders, not out of fear, but instinct. The sound of rain wind continues, steady and calming. The whispers drift in and out of awareness, threading themselves between raindrops and gusts of air. They do not compete with the storm. They exist within it, your thoughts slow, stretching wider. The whispers feel familiar, like voices remembered rather than heard. They carry the weight of moments you once noticed but did not keep. Small choices, quiet hesitations, doors you passed without opening. None of it feels urgent. The night does not judge. It only reminds that the wind bends again, shifting the rain's direction. The whispers soften, then return, brushing closer to the glass. You feel as though the window itself is listening with you, holding the sound delicately before passing it. Inside, the house remains quiet, receptive, breathing slowly in the background. You do not feel watched, you feel addressed. The rain wind speaks in fragments, never finishing a thought. It offers pieces and allows you to rest within them. You catch the shape of a memory that never fully formed, a place you almost went, a word you nearly said. Each whisper fades before it becomes clear, leaving behind only a gentle sense of recognition. You breathe in, you breathe out. The whispers adjust to your rhythm. When your breathing slows, they slow too. When your thoughts drift, they follow. The rain wind seems to learn you, shaping itself around your stillness. The sound does not intrude. It accompanies. The night feels wider now, but not emptier. It feels filled with quiet communication, a soft exchange happening just beneath conscious thought. You let yourself sink deeper into the bed, allowing the whispers to pass without grasping at them. One whisper lingers slightly longer than the others. It carries the sense of a threshold, something waiting just beyond awareness. Not a warning, not an invitation, simply a presence acknowledging that more exists than what is seen. You accept this easily, without tension. The rain continues to slide across the roof, guided by wind that never rushes. The sound remains constant, a low, soothing current. The whispers weave through it like threads, never breaking the surface, never demanding attention. You realize the whispers do not want answers. They want to listen. Your eyelids grow heavy. The effort of staying awake fades. Still, the whispers remain, gentle and patient. They do not stop when you relax. They grow, softer, closer to thought than sound, settling into the edges of sleep. The wind eases slightly, and the rain adjusts its tone. The whispers thin, becoming fewer, spaced farther apart. Each one arrives like a distant echo, then dissolves entirely. You feel calm, grounded, wrapped in sound. You sense that the whispers belong to the house as much as the night, that they pass through walls, through memory, through time. They are not bound to a place. They move where rain and wind allow them to go. Your breathing deepens. Your thoughts slow further. The blanket feels warmer. One final whisper drifts close, so soft. It barely exists. It carries no message you can name, only the feeling of being gently reminded that some things wait patiently to be noticed. Then it fades, absorbed by rain. The wind settles. The rain returns to a steadier fall. The sound simplifies, smoothing itself into a familiar rhythm. The whispers retreat without leaving an absence behind. They leave calm instead. You feel safe, you feel held, you feel ready to rest. Sleep approaches quietly, unannounced. You do not resist it. The night feels content to let you go, knowing it will remain awake in its own way. The rain continues outside, unbroken, guiding the world gently forward. As you drift closer to sleep, you sense that not all voices travel on sound. Some wait in stillness. Some reveal themselves only when the wind no longer carries them, and the rain finally begins to settle. As the whispers dissolve into quiet, you sense that the next presence will not speak at all, but will reveal itself through something you see when the night grows even calmer. The rain has thinned to a steady veil, delicate and persistent, the kind that does not announce itself but never truly stops. You find yourself walking along a road that glistens beneath the night, its surface dark and reflective as if the sky has gently lowered itself under your feet. Each step you take presses water outward in soft ripples, yet when you lift your foot, the pavement looks unchanged, smooth and wet again, as though it remembers the rain better than it remembers you. Your footsteps echo longer than they should. The sound lingers behind each step, stretching slightly, trailing after you like a quiet thought that refuses to fade. You slow your pace, listening. The road answers patiently, giving each sound back to you with a gentle delay. There are no other footsteps, no voices, only yours and the rain's steady companionship. The night feels wide here, open in a way that softens rather than exposes. Street lights are few and distant, their glow diffused by moisture until they resemble pale moons caught low in the air. Their reflections shimmer beneath you, trembling slightly with every drop of rain. You feel suspended between above and below, walking a narrow path where sky and ground briefly agree. You do not remember deciding to walk here. The road feels familiar, as though it has always existed in the quiet spaces between moments. The rain follows faithfully, never falling ahead of you, never rushing to meet you, only accompanying your movement with calm consistency. You breathe deeply, feeling cool air fill your lungs, then release slowly, watching your breath dissolve into the night. The pavement never dries. You notice this gently, without concern. No matter how long you walk, the road remains dark and slick, holding the rain close. The water does not pool or run away. It clings, thin and even, as if the road prefers it this way. You place your hand briefly against your coat, feeling the dampness there too, light and constant, like the night itself has leaned in to walk beside you. Your footsteps continue, measured and unhurried. Each one lands, echoes, then settles into quiet. The sound feels slightly heavier now, as though the road has begun to listen more closely. You imagine the pavement absorbing not just water, but memory, collecting every step ever taken here, holding them gently beneath its surface. The night stretches. You sense it expanding ahead of you, not opening into distance, but elongating, elastic, and patient. The road does not curve or end. It simply continues, smooth and wet, offering no sign of change. You do not feel lost. You think held within motion, as if walking itself is the destination. Rain taps softly against your shoulders, your hair, your sleeves. It never sharpens. It never fades. It stays perfectly consistent, like a promise being kept quietly. Behind you, you sense its presence more strongly, as if it prefers following rather than leading. The idea comforts you. Something remains with you, even when you do not look back. You glance down at your reflection in the road. It wavers gently, distorted by rain and movement. Your shape looks familiar, yet soft, edges blurred. You do not linger on it. The reflection does not feel important. What matters is the sensation of moving forward, of hearing your steps respond, of feeling the night accept your presence without question. Time loosens its shape here. You cannot tell how long you have been walking. Minutes and hours feel interchangeable, stretched thin by the steady rhythm of rain and step. Your thoughts slow naturally, spacing themselves farther apart. Each one arrives, rests briefly, then dissolves back into the sound of rain. The road narrows slightly, though you cannot see it clearly. It may be the way darkness gathers at the edges of vision, encouraging focus. You continue forward, trusting the ground beneath your feet. It remains solid, supportive, unwavering, even as it stays endlessly wet. Your footsteps echo again, and this time you pause, listening carefully. The sound fades, but not immediately. It lingers just long enough to feel intentional, as though the road is reluctant to let go of it. You stand still for a moment. The rain continues to fall, unchanged. The road remains wet, shining softly beneath distant light. When you take another step, the echo returns, faithful and calm. It does not surprise you anymore. It feels like part of the conversation between you and the night. You walk on, matching your pace to the rhythm you have discovered. The air smells clean and faintly metallic. Like stone after rain, you inhale, slowly filling your chest with coolness, then exhale, letting tension release. The road accepts each step without resistance. There is no urgency here, no need to arrive anywhere else. You notice that the rain sounds slightly different behind you than ahead. In front it feels lighter, almost distant. Behind it feels closer, more present, as though it is keeping careful watch. You do not turn around. You do not feel the need. The rain's presence is gentle, loyal, and unthreatening. The road reflects the sky again, darker now, deeper. Clouds drift overhead, unseen but felt, their weight pressing softly downward. You imagine them mirrored perfectly beneath your feet, creating the sense that you are walking between two nights, both equally quiet. Your body grows warmer as you move, despite the cool rain. The steady motion keeps you comfortable, grounded. You feel connected to the rhythm of walking, the simple certainty of placing one foot in front of the other. The echo follows, always a moment behind, like a thought that prefers reflection over interruption. You wonder briefly where the road leads, then let the question drift away. The road does not seem concerned with destinations. It offers only continuity, only presence. You accept this easily, allowing curiosity to soften into calm. The rain continues to follow you faithfully, never overtaking, never falling away. It feels almost companionable now, as if it recognizes your pace, your breath, your stillness when you pause. The road remains wet beneath you, unchanged by time or distance. Eventually you slow, then stop. Your footsteps echo one last time, stretching gently into silence. The rain fills the space left behind, smoothing everything again. You stand quietly, listening, feeling the night hold steady around you. You sense that the road does not end here. It simply waits, ready whenever you choose to move again. The rain remains behind you, patient and calm, prepared to follow wherever the night stretches next dot as you stand on the endless road. You sense that the next thing to appear will not follow behind you at all, but will wait ahead, reflected faintly in something still and watching. The rain has eased into something gentler now, a soft persistence that leaves the world glossy and quiet. You walk more slowly, aware of the ground beneath you, where shallow puddles have gathered in the slight dips of the road. Each one holds a piece of the night, catching fragments of dim light, broken clouds, and the suggestion of your own shape moving through them. You stop beside one puddle that feels different. It is wider than the others, smoother, its surface trembling faintly as rain touches it. You stand over it, looking down, and see yourself reflected there, softened and stretched by water. Your outline wavers gently, as if breathing. The sight feels calming, familiar, like looking into a memory rather than a mirror. The rain taps the surface, sending slow ripples outward. Your reflection bends and reforms, never quite settling. You crouch down, bringing yourself closer, resting your weight carefully, feeling the remarkable dampness rise from the ground. The night seems to lean in with you, curious but unhurried. Your face in the water looks peaceful, eyes half-shadowed, features blurred, just enough to remove sharpness. You tilt your head slightly. The reflection follows, though not immediately. There is a pause, subtle enough that you almost miss it. Then the image shifts, catching up, smoothing back into alignment. You tell yourself it is nothing. Water moves slowly sometimes. Light bends. Rain interferes. Still, you remain kneeling, watching, breathing evenly. The puddle steadies, its surface calming as the rain lightens. Your reflection grows clearer dot. You raise your hand slowly and hold it above the water. In the puddle, your hand lifts too, but again, not quite at the exact moment. The delay is gentle, unhurried, as though the reflection is thinking before responding. You feel no fear, only a mild curiosity, the kind that surfaces just before sleep. The world around you is quiet, no wind, no distant sounds, just the faint rain and your breathing. You lower your hand. This time, the reflection lingers longer, remaining raised for a breath before following. The movement feels deliberate, but not hostile. More like hesitation, more like consideration. You shift your weight slightly, knees pressing into the damp ground. The cool seeps through fabric, grounding you. The puddle reflects the dark sky now, clouds drifting slowly overhead. Your image blends with them, becoming part of something larger, something less defined. For a moment, you stop moving entirely. You hold still and watch. Your reflection holds still, held too. The surface of the water smooths, becoming almost glass-like. The rain pauses, as if listening. Then you blink dot in the puddle. Your reflection does not. The realization arrives softly, without alarm. You notice it the way you notice temperature change or the moment a room grows quieter. Your reflections. Eyes remain open, steady, watching upward. You stay calm, breathing slowly, heart steady. The night does not react. It simply waits. You blink again, slower this time, testing the moment. When your eyes open, the reflection's eyes close, just beginning their own blink, delayed, unhurried. It feels like watching an echo instead of a mirror. You exhale, long and slow. The air feels cool against your skin. You remind yourself that reflections are only light and water, nothing more. Still, you stay where you are, kneeling, observing. The puddle seems deeper now, darker, as if it holds more than the surface should allow. Rain begins again, light but steady, dimpling the water. The ripples distort your reflection, pulling it apart gently, then letting it reassemble. When it returns, the timing feels closer, almost normal, almost. You reach down and trail your fingers lightly along the edge of the puddle. The water responds with small waves spreading outward. Your reflection trembles, blurs, then settles. For a moment, it looks like it is smiling, though you are not. You do not react. The expression fades quickly, dissolving back into neutrality. You tell yourself it is the water's shape, the angle of light. You remain calm, grounded in the sensation of cool air, damp earth, and steady rain. The puddle watches you as much as you watch it, not with intent, but with awareness, as if it recognizes you, as if it remembers you from somewhere else, some other quiet place where reflections linger longer than they should. You shift back slightly, resting your hands on your knees. The reflection mirrors you now, movements closer in time. The delay is almost gone. You feel a subtle relief, like a tension you hadn't realized you were holding, finally loosening. The rain grows steadier again, softening edges, smoothing the world. Other puddles nearby shimmer faintly, catching light, reflecting nothing clearly. You glance at them briefly, then return your gaze to the one before you. It remains calm, reflective, and patient. You straighten slowly, rising from your kneeling position. Your reflection rises too, nearly in sync. You stand fully, looking down at yourself in the water, then step back. The puddle continues to hold your image for a moment longer, then lets it fade as distance increases as you walk away. You feel the night settle again, comfortable, quiet. The road remains wet, reflective, but no longer insistent. Your footsteps return, echoing softly, familiar and grounding still. As you move forward, you sense the puddle behind you, holding the memory of your image, replaying it slowly, carefully. Long after you have passed, the idea does not unsettle you. It feels like being remembered gently. The rain follows you again, faithful and calm. The reflections along the road shimmer as you pass, each one offering a distorted glimpse, none lingering long enough to draw your focus. You keep your pace, slow, your breathing even. You feel drowsy now, thoughts thinning, stretching. The night feels close, protective. Whatever lingered in the water remains behind you, content to stay where it is. Ahead, the road darkens again, smooth and reflective, leading you onward into quiet uncertainty. You trust it. You trust the rhythm of walking, the consistency of rain, the calm that settles deeper with each step. As you continue forward, you sense that the next place you will stop will not reflect you at all, but will offer a surface that shows something quietly waiting instead. You notice the room before you step fully inside it. The air changes first, becoming cooler, heavier, as though it has been holding its breath. The rain outside continues its gentle rhythm, but here, beneath the roof, something else answers it. A soft, irregular dripping echoes from somewhere unseen, slow and patient, like a memory repeating itself. You pause in the doorway. The light is dim but steady, casting calm shadows that rest instead of stretching. The ceiling above you is dry, unmarked, intact. Still, the sound continues. Drop, pause, drop again. Each echo lands gently, never sharp, never rushed. You step. Inside, your footfall muted by the stillness. The room smells faintly of damp earth, like soil after a prolonged rain, even though no water touches the floor. The scent feels familiar, comforting in an old way, as if it belongs to a place you once knew but cannot quite recall. You stand still, listening. The rain outside taps the windows softly, but the dripping sound within the room does not match. It follows its own rhythm, slower, more deliberate. You tilt your head, trying to locate the source. There is no puddle, no stain, no visible sign of moisture. The walls absorb sound rather than reflect it. Your breathing feels louder than it should, though it remains slow and calm. You inhale, sensing the coolness settle deeper into your chest, and exhale, letting your shoulders relax. The drip sounds again, closer now, though nothing has moved. You take a few careful steps forward. The floorboards beneath you are dry and solid, offering reassurance with each step. The sound does not echo beneath your feet. It comes from the air itself. You reach the center of the room and stop. Here the feeling intensifies. The air presses gently against your skin, like mist without moisture. You hold your hands out slightly, palms open, feeling nothing touch them, yet sensing presence all the same. Another drop sounds, then another. They fall without falling, existing only as sound. Each one leaves a faint impression, like a thought that almost forms before dissolving. You close your eyes briefly, letting the rhythm wash over you. It is not unpleasant. It feels like listening to rain in a dream. When you open your eyes, the room looks unchanged, yet subtly different. The shadows appear deeper, more settled. The corners seem fuller, as if holding something unseen. You do not feel watched, but you feel acknowledged. You move toward one wall, drawn by instinct rather than intention. As you approach, the dripping grows slightly louder, clearer. You place your hand against the wall. It is cool, solid, and dry. Still, the sound persists, steady and calm. You lean closer. resting your forehead lightly against the surface. The vibration of the sound hums faintly through the wall, like a distant heartbeat. You breathe slowly, matching your rhythm to it, finding comfort in the repetition. The room seems to respond, the dripping slows, spacing itself out as if adjusting. To you, drop. Longer pause. Drop again. You straighten and step back, feeling a subtle shift in the air. Like relief dot, you begin to walk slowly around the room's perimeter. Each step feels measured, intentional. The sound follows you, not moving yet always present, filling the space evenly. There is no single source, no direction dot. You realize then that the room is remembering rain. Not the rain outside, but rain. From long ago, rain that soaked into its walls and floors and never entirely left. It plays itself back endlessly, not out of sorrow, but out of habit. You stop near the far corner, where the light fades slightly. The air here feels thicker, more layered. The dripping becomes softer, almost a whisper. You listen closely, and beneath the sound, you sense something like words, though no language forms. They are not messages meant to be understood. They are impressions, feelings, the echo of footsteps that once crossed this floor, the weight of bodies that rested here, the quiet moments when the room was not empty. You feel a gentle ache of recognition, like remembering a place from a dream. The room does not want to be empty again. It holds on to its sounds to keep itself company. You sit down slowly, lowering yourself to the floor. The surface is cool but comfortable. You draw your legs in slightly, wrapping your arms loosely around. Then the dripping continues unbothered by your presence, yet somehow softer now. You feel safe here. The room does not threaten. It shelters. It remembers, so you do not have to. The rain outside fades further into the background, its rhythm blending seamlessly with the echoes inside. Your eyelids grow heavy. The sound wraps around you like a blanket, each drop a reminder of continuity, of persistence. You breathe deeply. Letting the scent of damp earth ground you. Time feels stretched, unimportant. The room exists outside of it, replaying its memory endlessly. You remain, listening, feeling the calm settle deeper, heavier, more complete. Eventually you stand again, movements slow and unhurried. The room seems to sigh, not in sadness, but in contentment. The dripping does not stop, but it feels settled. Satisfied, you take one last look around before leaving. The walls remain unchanged. The ceiling is still dry. The sound continues, gentle and patient. As you step back toward the doorway, the air lightens slightly, releasing you. The room keeps its rain, its memories, its quiet company. You pause at the threshold, listening one last time. The dripping fades just enough to feel distant, like rain heard from another room. As you move on, you sense that the next place you enter will not remember rain at all, but will be waiting quietly to hear your footsteps instead. The rain settles into a steady drizzle, the kind that feels patient, unhurried, as though it has all the time in the world. It smooths the edges of everything it touches, softening sound, dulling distance, making the night feel closer and more contained. You walk slowly beneath it, listening as it taps against leaves, pavement, and the quiet air around you. At first, the rain is all you hear. It fills the space gently, a low, consistent hum, that wraps around your thoughts and loosens them. Your breathing falls into its rhythm without effort. Inhale, exhale, step, pause. Everything moves together. Then, gradually, you notice something else. It is faint, almost hidden, like a second melody woven beneath the first. A sound that does not belong to the rain, yet moves with it. You slow your steps, tilting your head slightly, letting your senses stretch outward. The drizzle continues, unchanged, but beneath it, something murmurs. You stop walking. The sound remains. It is not loud. It does not demand attention. It waits. You listen more closely, letting the rain become background, allowing the other sound rise gently into focus. It resembles a voice, though softened, filtered through distance and water, as if spoken from behind a thin wall. You do not feel alarmed. The voice carries no urgency, no sharpness. It speaks at the same calm pace as the rain falls. You cannot make out words at first, only tone. It feels familiar, comforting, like someone speaking quietly nearby while you rest. You stand still, hands relaxed at your sides, shoulders loose. The air smells clean and cool, washed by rain. The voice grows, clearer as you listen, though it never grows louder. It speaks directly beneath the sound of rain, never interrupting it. You realize then that the voice is not coming from any one place. It does not echo from walls or drift from shadows. It exists within the drizzle itself, carried by each falling drop, spread evenly through the air. You close your eyes. The voice continues, gentle and steady. It speaks of small things, of pauses, of moments that stretch quietly between one thought and the next. It mentions your breathing, notes how even it sounds. It speaks of the way your feet rest against the ground, the way your body holds itself. When it feels safe, you do not question how it knows these things. The words flow easily, matching sensations you are already aware of. It feels less like being told something, and more like having something reflected to you. The rain taps your skin softly, cool, and light. The voice hums beneath it, never rushing, never lingering too long on any one thought. You feel yourself relaxing further, tension dissolving without effort. You begin walking again, slow and measured. The voice moves with you, keeping pace, always present, but never pressing. It speaks of paths taken and paths left behind, not with judgment, but with quiet acknowledgement. You sense no presence beside you, no shape or form. The voice feels bodiless, unanchored, existing only as sound and awareness. It does not ask questions. It does not wait for answers. It simply speaks, gently filling the space where thoughts might otherwise wander. You notice that the voice knows your name. It says it once, softly folded into a sentence like any other word. The sound of it does not startle you. It feels natural, expected, as if hearing your name spoken aloud in a dream. You continue walking, breathing steadily, heart calm. The rain grows slightly heavier, each drop more distinct. The voice adjusts effortlessly, slipping beneath the sound, never competing. It speaks of rain you remember from long ago, moments when you listened to storms from safe places, wrapped in warmth and quiet. You realize the voice is not introducing new thoughts. It is uncovering old ones, memories that rest just beneath the surface, soft by time. It speaks of them gently, careful not to disturb their calm. You feel drowsy now, limbs heavy, movements slower. The road ahead blurs slightly, reflections stretching across wet pavement. The voice guides your attention inward toward the steady rhythm of your body, the simple comfort of standing and listening. At some point, you stop trying to listen actively. The voice becomes part of the environment, like the rain itself. It blends seamlessly into the night, existing without effort. You sense that if you focused, you could understand every word clearly, but you do not feel the need. Understanding feels less important than feeling. The voice carries reassurance, not information. The drizzle begins to ease, thinning gradually. The rain's hum softens, grows lighter. The voice remains still gentle, still present. It does not grow louder. As the rain fades, it maintains its calm, even tone. You open your eyes again, though you had not realized they were closed. The night looks the same, unchanged. No figures stand nearby. No source reveals itself. The voice continues, unbothered by your attention. It speaks of rest. Not sleep exactly, but the space just before it, where thoughts loosen and awareness drifts. It encourages nothing, demands nothing. It simply describes what is already happening. The rain tapers off into scattered drops. The voice grows quieter, not fading, but receding, like a tide pulling gently back. You feel a faint sense of gratitude, though you are not sure why. You take a deep breath, then another. The air feels lighter now, cleaner. The drizzle becomes a memory, lingering only as scent and sheen. The voice says your name once more, softer this time, then lets it dissolve into silence. You stand alone again, surrounded only by the quiet night and the echo of rain that is already past. You do not feel abandoned. The calm remains, settled, deep, and steady. Whatever spoke to you feels close still, just beyond hearing, content, to let you rest. You resume walking, steps slow and even. The road ahead stretches quietly, inviting, familiar. You feel safe moving forward, unhurried, unafraid. As you continue, you sense that the next sound you notice will not come from the rain at all, but from somewhere much closer, quietly waiting for you to stop and listen. The forest receives the rain the way a body receives breath, slowly, fully, without resistance. You step beneath the canopy and feel the sound of the world change around you, softened and layered, as droplets travel from leaf to leaf before reaching the ground. Nothing falls directly here. Everything takes its time. You walk along a narrow path, damp soil yielding gently beneath your steps. The air smells rich and alive, carrying the scent of wet bark, moss, and something older that lingers beneath it. All the rain does not strike the forest. It is absorbed, translated, and turned into a quieter language. With each step you feel a subtle awareness settle over you. Not pressure, not fear, just attention, as if the forest has noticed your arrival and is calmly adjusting to it. You slow your pace without realizing, letting your movements soften, matching the rhythm around you. The rain threads its way through the branches above, whispering as it goes. It sounds almost deliberate, like murmured words you cannot quite understand. You do not try to listen too closely. The sound itself is enough. It wraps around you, steady and reassuring. Tall trees rise on either side of the path, their trunks darkened by rain. their surfaces textured and patient. You sense their age not in years, but in stillness. They have stood through countless storms, countless nights like this one, listening without comment. As you move deeper, the light dims gradually, filtered through layers of leaves and mist. Shadows gather comfortably between roots and ferns. Nothing shifts suddenly. Everything moves as it should, slowly and without urgency. You become aware of your breathing, how it echoes faintly in your chest. The forest seems to breathe with you. Inhale, exhale. The rain follows the same rhythm, falling and resting. Falling and resting again, you pause, placing your hand against the rough bark of a nearby tree. The surface is cool and damp beneath your palm. You feel grounded, connected. The rain slides down the trunk in thin streams, tracing paths that feel intentional, remembered. When you step away, you feel the space you leave behind fill quietly, as though the forest closes gently around itself. You are not intruding. You are passing through. The path curves slightly, drawing you onward. Ferns brush softly against your legs. Branches arch overhead, leaning closer, not to block your way, but to narrow it, to guide your attention inward. You feel held by the space, contained but not confined. The rain deepens briefly, then settles again. The forest exhales, releasing a low, almost inaudible sigh. You feel it more than hear it, a subtle shift in the air that moves through your chest and out again. You realize then that the forest is listening, not in the way people listen, waiting for words, but in a broader sense. It listens to movement, to intention, to presence. Each step you take sends a quiet signal outward, absorbed by roots and leaves and soil. You stop walking. The forest does not react immediately. The rain continues. Leaves tremble softly. Then, gradually, you sense the attention sharpen. The space around you grows slightly more aware, as though focusing. You remain still, breathing slowly and even. You feel no threat, only acknowledgement. The forest knows you are here, just as it knows the rain, the wind, the slow passing of time. After a moment, you move again. The attention relaxes, spreading evenly once more. You continue along the path, comforted by the sense of being noticed, without being judged. The deeper you go, the quieter the world becomes. The rain seems farther away now, its sound diffused by layers of leaves. What remains is a gentle hush, broken only by the soft press of your footsteps. You notice shapes at the edge of your vision, shadows that deepen and soften as you pass. They do not follow, they do not retreat. They exist, part of the forests. Slow awareness. Your thoughts begin to drift, loosening their grip. The forest encourages this, offering no sharp edges for your mind to catch on. Everything here moves in curves, in gradual transitions. You feel drowsy, though you are still walking. The sensation is not heavy, but floating, like being carried gently forward. The rain continues to fall, each drop another quiet reminder to slow down. At one point you sense that if you were to stop completely, the forest would continue around you without pause. You could stand here indefinitely, listening, breathing, becoming part of the rhythm. The idea comforts you. You pass a cluster of trees whose branches intertwine overhead, forming a natural arch. As you move beneath it, the rain shifts, dripping more slowly, more deliberately. The sound changes, becoming deeper, more resonant. You feel the forest's attention again, slightly closer now. Not pressing, just present. A sense that it has always been listening, long before you arrived, long before anyone walked these paths. You think of how many footsteps have echoed here, how many quiet nights have passed beneath this canopy. The forest holds them all, not as memories, but as impressions, woven into its endless listening. The path begins to level out, smoothing beneath your feet. The rain lightens again, thinning into a soft mist that clings to leaves and air alike. You breathe it in, cool and clean. You feel calm, safe. The subtle unease that lingered earlier fades, replaced by a more profound sense of belonging. You are not alone here, but you are not endangered either. You are acknowledged, Dot, as you near the edge of the forest. You sense the listening ease once more, spreading outward, returning to its steady, patient state. The trees do not follow you. They remain, breathing, listening, waiting. You step beyond. The densest part of the canopy, the rain growing slightly louder again. The forest recedes behind you, still present, still aware, but no longer as close, Dot, as you move on. You feel sure that whatever place waits ahead will not listen the way the forest does, but will remember what it hears long after you have passed. The storm settles overhead with a patient weight, not loud, not urgent, but present in a way that feels deliberate. Rain moves steadily across rooftops and trees, and thunder rolls far away, deep and unhurried. You sit quietly, wrapped in the soft darkness, listening as the night rearranges itself around the sound. At first, the rain is all there is. It fills the space between moments, smoothing sharp thoughts into something gentler. Each drop feels like a breath released. You let your shoulders sink, your jaw loosen, your awareness soften. Then you hear it tick. It is faint, almost lost beneath the rain, but once noticed, it becomes impossible to ignore. A single careful sound, measured, precise. You tilt your head slightly, listening more closely. Tick. The sound does not belong to the storm. It does not echo like thunder or scatter like rainfall. It holds its shape, steady and contained. You wait. Tick. You realize it is a clock. Not one you can see, not one that announces itself with confidence. This ticking feels cautious, as if unsure it should exist at all. It slips between raindrops, occupying the quiet spaces the storm leaves. Behind, you remain still, breathing slowly. The ticking does not rush. It keeps perfect time, marking seconds with gentle certainty. Tick, tick. You count without trying. One breath, another. Each tick aligns with the steady rhythm inside your chest. You feel oddly comforted by it, as though someone nearby is keeping watch while you rest. Thunder rolls again, closer this time. The rain briefly intensifies, drowning out the smaller sounds. The ticking disappears. You wait. The rain softens once more, settling back into its steady drizzle. Almost immediately, the sound returns. Tick. You exhale slowly, feeling a faint smile form. The clock only speaks when the storm allows it. You imagine it, listening carefully, waiting for the right moment to begin again. You wonder where it is. In another room, beneath the floor, somewhere within the walls. The thought does not trouble you. The ticking feels old, familiar, like something that has always been here, patiently waiting for storms. Tick. You notice that time feels different now. the seconds slightly, growing wider, softer. Each tick carries weight, not heaviness, but presence. You feel as though you are borrowing these moments, holding them gently before letting them go. The storm shifts outside, thunder murmuring like a distant conversation. The ticking continues beneath it, unbroken. You imagine the clock measuring. Something other than hours. Perhaps it counts heartbeats, or breaths, or the spaces between thoughts. Dot, tick, dot, your eyes grow heavy. The sound cradles your attention, keeping it from drifting too far. You feel anchored in the present, held between rain and time. Suddenly, the rain pauses. Dot. The world goes quiet in a way that feels intentional, as though the storm is drawn in a breath. In that silence, the ticking stops. You open your eyes. The absence feels noticeable, but not alarming. The quiet stretches, smooth and vast. You realize how much the ticking had shaped the space, how gently it had filled the air. You wait, listening. Thunder murmurs faintly, then fades. Still no rain, still no ticking. The silence feels expectant, like a held note. Dot, then the rain returns. Softly at first, dot, tick, dot, the sound resumes immediately, as though it never left, waited. You relax again, sinking back into stillness. The clock is patient. It does not count without purpose. It does not speak unless the storm is present. You begin to sense that the clock is listening too, and listening to the rain and listening to you. Each tick feels responsive, aware. It adjusts slightly, slowing when the storm softens, steadying. When thunder draws near. Dot, tick, dot, the clock has been here for years, perhaps longer, waiting through dry nights in silence, awakening only when storms arrive. It does not mind waiting. Time, for it is not something to chase. The rain deepens again, droplets tapping faster, more insistently. Thunder answers, closer now. The ticking remains calm, unchanged, a steady anchor beneath the noise. You feel safe in this layered soundscape. Rain above, thunder beyond, ticking nearby. Each element knows its place. Dot, tick, dot. You think of all the storms that have passed through. This place, all the nights where the clock woke quietly and counted alongside the rain. You feel small in a comforting way, part of something ongoing and patient. Your breathing slows further. Thoughts drift like clouds, forming and dissolving, without effort. The ticking continues. UNBOTHERED. Dot, tick, dot. Another pause in the rain, shorter this time. The ticking stops again, respectful, obedient to the storm's rhythm. You smile faintly, eyes closed, aware of the pattern. Now. Dot, when the rain resumes, so does the clock. Dot, tick, dot. You no longer try to locate the sound. Its position feels irrelevant. It exists wherever you are, as long as the storm remains. It feels less like an object, and more like a function of the night itself. Time feels stretched, gentle, forgiving. You stop counting. The ticks continue anyway, uncounted, unmeasured by you. The storm begins to fade gradually, rain thinning into mist. Thunder moves farther away, its voice softening. The ticking slows slightly, spacing itself out, as if preparing to rest. Dot, tick, dot, longer. Pause. Dot, tick, dot. You sense the clock growing quieter, not in volume, but in presence. It is winding down, satisfied. The rain becomes barely audible now, a memory more than a sound. Dot, tick, dot. One last gentle mark of time. The rain stops completely. The ticking falls silent. You remain still, breathing slowly, calm settled deep within you. The absence feels peaceful, earned. The clock rests. Time releases its grip. You know that when the next storm arrives, the ticking will return, patient and precise, ready to count alongside the rain once more. As the silence holds, you sense that the next place you rest will not measure time at all, but will wait quietly for something to arrive. The rain falls steadily now, turning the street into a ribbon of soft reflections. Street lights line the road at careful intervals, each one casting a warm circle that blurs at the edges, dissolving gently into the darkness beyond. You walk slowly. Beneath them, feeling the rain cool your skin, hearing it whisper against pavement and glass. Each pool of light feels like a small island. You move from one to the next, stepping through brightness into shadow, then back again. The rhythm is calming, predictable. The world narrows to what you can see and hear, and nothing asks more of you than to keep walking. As you approach the next street light, you notice something at the edge of its glow. At first, it feels like a trick of the rain. The falling water bends the light, stretches shadows, and creates shapes that never quite settle. You slow your pace slightly, eyes adjusting, letting the moment clarify on its own. The shape remains. It stands just beyond the brightest part of the light, where illumination thins into uncertainty. Not entirely in shadow, not fully revealed. Just there, still. You stop walking. Rain continues around you, steady and patient. The figure does not move. It does not step closer or retreat. It simply occupies its place at the boundary between light and dark, as if it belongs there. You blink. For a moment the figure softens, edges dissolving into the rainlight, almost gone. Then your eyes open fully, and it returns, just as it was before. Your breathing remains calm. You feel no sudden fear, no urge to run. The presence feels quiet, observational, like something that has been waiting without expectation. You stand beneath the streetlight, its glow warming your shoulders, while the rain beads along your hair and clothing. You look directly at the figure now, allowing your eyes to rest rather than search. Details refuse to sharpen. The shape suggests a person, but without features. No clear face, no defined limbs, just a silhouette shaped by absence, outlined by rain and dim light. You shift your weight slightly. The figure does not respond. The rain continues to fall between you, a soft veil that blurs distance and intention alike. You take a slow step. Forward. The figure remains where it is. Another step. The light stretches behind you, and you feel the subtle pull of leaving its center. The rain grows louder as you move toward the edge of illumination. The figure seems no closer than before. As though distance is being carefully maintained, you stop again. A thought drifts through you, unhurried and calm. The figure is not blocking your path. It is not reaching for you. It is simply standing where the light ends, as if marking a boundary. You realize then that it has always been there, at the edge of every street light you passed, just unnoticed, blending seamlessly with rain and shadow. It did not follow you. You followed it unknowingly, moving from one pool of light to the next. The idea settles without panic. It feels strangely reassuring. Droplets streak through the light, briefly obscuring your view. When they pass, the figure remains unchanged. You notice that it does not reflect light the way other shapes do. The rain slides through it without resistance, as if it occupies a thinner version of space. The streetlight's glow does not cling to it. It merely outlines where it stands. You blink again, slower this time. The figure fades almost entirely. Your breath catches for just a moment, then steadies. You keep your eyes open, patient. The rain continues its gentle fall. Gradually, the shape returns, not sharper, but present once more. It feels like a test, not of courage, but of attention. The figure exists only when you allow it to. When you observe without strain, you relax your gaze. The figure settles comfortably at the edge of your vision, content to remain partially unseen. You sense no malice, no intent beyond being noticed. Briefly, softly, you take a step back into the center of the street light. The warmth of its glow wraps around you again. The figure does not follow. It stays where it is, precisely at the boundary. You turn slightly, angling your body. From this perspective, the figure becomes thinner, less distinct, almost a suggestion, rather than a presence. You could ignore it easily now, continue walking, let the rain and light guide you forward. You hesitate, not because you are afraid, but because part of you understands that moments like this are fleeting. The figure will not linger once the balance shifts. You offer it a final look, not a stare, just acknowledgement. The rain softens in response, its sound lowering slightly, as though giving space. The figure inclines, not moving, but adjusting subtly, like a shadow responding to a change in light. You feel a quiet understanding pass between you. It will remain at the edges, where things blur. It does not need to come closer. It does not need to follow. You turn away and continue walking. With each step, the street light behind you dims, and the next one ahead grows brighter. Rain continues to fall, steady and familiar. You do not look back immediately. When you do, the space behind you holds only rain and darkness. The figure has entirely blended into the night, indistinguishable from shadow and falling water. You feel no loss, only calm. The road stretches ahead, wet and reflective, illuminated by the next pool of light. You move toward it, steps slow, breathing even. The rain light guides you onward, one circle at a time. As you pass beneath the next street light, you sense the edge of its glow forming. Again, quietly, patiently. Something may stand there, or something may not. Either way, the night feels balanced, complete. You keep walking, allowing the rain to hide what it must, and reveal only what feels safe to see. As you move forward, you sense that the next presence you encounter will not stand at the edge of the light at all, but will wait somewhere the darkness feels most familiar. The storm follows you until the ground changes beneath your feet. The rain still falls steadily, but here it gathers instead of running away, pooling softly against stone and earth. You slow your steps, noticing how the sound deepens, how each drop feels heavier when it lands. Ahead of you, barely visible through the veil of rain, stands a door. It does not belong to a house. There are no walls, no windows, no roof to suggest shelter. Just the door, upright and waiting, its surface darkened by water, its frame rooted firmly into the ground. Rain slides down its panels in thin streams, collecting at the base like a shallow mirror. You stop a few steps away. The storm presses gently against your back, familiar and steady. Thunder murmurs distantly, not as a warning, but as reassurance that the world beyond the rain still exists. The door does not move. You breathe in slowly, filling your lungs with cool night air. The rain smells clean here, mixed with something warmer beneath it, like wood long kept dry. You feel no urgency to approach, only a quiet curiosity that settles comfortably in your chest, as you watch. The door creaks softly, It is not a sudden sound. It unfolds slowly, like an old joint stretching after a long rest. The door shifts inward by a fraction, just enough to reveal a thin line of darkness beyond its edge. No hand touches it. No wind pushes it open. It simply responds to the storm. Warm. Air drifts outward through the narrow opening. It meets the rain-cooled night and rests there, creating a soft boundary you can feel against your skin. The warmth carries a faint scent of dust and calm, of spaces that have been closed, but not forgotten. You take one step closer. The rain does not follow you. It continues to fall behind, steady and patient, but the space near the door feels sheltered, as though the storm understands it should not cross this line. You stand between worlds now, rain at your back, warmth ahead. The door opens a little wider. You can see nothing inside. Not darkness exactly, but an absence of detail, like a room, waiting to be noticed. You feel no pull from within, no force urging you forward. The choice remains entirely yours. You hesitate, not from fear, but from awareness. Thresholds matter. They mark change, even when that change is gentle. You glance back at the rain, watching how it continues to fall, unconcerned, faithful. The giant storm has carried you this far, guided you through roads, forests, rooms, and listening nights. It feels like an old companion now. The door creaks again, opening just enough to invite without insisting. You place your hand on the frame. The wood is warm beneath your palm, dry despite the rain that soaks everything else. You feel grounded, steady. The warmth seeps slowly into your skin, relaxing muscles you did not realize were tense. You step forward, crossing the threshold. The moment you do, the sound of rain softens dramatically. It does not vanish, but it becomes distant, like rain, heard from another room. The air inside feels still, settled, as though time moves differently here. You turn slightly, looking back. The door remains open behind you. Rain continues to fall outside, visible through the opening, streaking down the surface of the world. The storm does not try to enter. It waits, content to remain where it belongs. Inside, the space reveals itself slowly. There are no sharp edges, no clear boundaries. The room feels larger than it should, stretching gently outward, defined more by atmosphere than structure. The floor beneath your feet is solid and warm. The air carries a sense of quiet occupation, like a place that expects visitors, but does not require them. You take another step inside, then another. Your movements feel lighter here, as though gravity has softened. The door remains where it is, neither closing nor opening further. You realize that this place exists only during storms. It does not appear on clear nights. It does not offer itself without rain. The threshold forms when the world is all ready. blurred when sound and sight soften enough to allow something else to emerge. You stand still, listening. There is no ticking here, no footsteps, no whispers. Only a low, steady hum, like the sound of air resting in an ample, quiet space. It matches your breathing without effort. You feel safe. The warmth settles around you like a blanket.